Most programmers spend 6 hours coding and 2 hours staring at Stack Overflow threads from 2014. Then there's that one person who finishes their entire sprint in 3 hours and still has time to explain recursion to the intern using only metaphors about pizza. What's their secret? It's not that they're smarter. It's not that they mainline caffeine. They're just vibe coding. And before you roll your eyes at what sounds like another tech bro buzzword invented during a hackathon, hear me out. Vibe coding is actually easy. Easier than you think. And no, it's not just coding while listening to lo-fi hip-hop beats to study, relax to. Although that helps. The problem with most coding advice is that it's either too technical or too vague. One side tells you to memorize design patterns and write perfectly documented code before you even start. The other side tells you to just follow your intuition and trust the process. Great, very helpful. Meanwhile, you're sitting there with 47 tabs open. 3 different AI chatbots giving you conflicting advice and a code base that looks like it was written by someone who learned programming from fever dreams. Here's what actually happens when people try to code. They open their IDE. They stare at the blank screen. They think, I should probably plan this out properly. So they spend 2 hours making a flowchart. Then they realize the flowchart is wrong. So they start over. Then they check Twitter. Then they watch a 45-minute YouTube video called I Built This in 10 Minutes. Spoiler, it took them 10 hours and they cut out all the debugging. Then they finally start coding. They write 3 lines, it breaks. They spend an hour Googling the error message. The solution is to add a semicolon. And by then it's 6 p.m. and they've achieved nothing except a newfound hatred for JavaScript. Sound familiar? Vibe coding isn't about being careless. It's not about writing spaghetti code and calling it creative freedom. It's about achieving flow state while coding. That psychological state where time disappears and you're just locked in. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi studied this for decades. Yes, I had to Google how to spell his name. Flow state happens when your skill level matches the challenge. Too easy and you're bored. Too hard and you're anxious. Right in the middle, that's the sweet spot. That's where vibe coding lives. When you're vibe coding, you're not thinking about syntax. You're not second guessing every variable name. You're just building. The code flows out naturally. You know what needs to happen next without consciously thinking about it. It's like playing a video game where you finally memorize all the controls. You're not thinking, press X to jump. You're just jumping. Most people think vibe coding means I'll just wing it and hope for the best. Or worse, I'll let AI write all my code while I watch. Neither of these is vibe coding. The first is just bad planning. The second is prompt engineering with extra steps. Real vibe coding requires you to actually know what you're doing. Here's the catch that nobody tells you. You can't vibe code something you don't understand. If you're a complete beginner trying to build a distributed database from scratch, you're not going to achieve flow. You're going to achieve a migraine. Vibe coding works when you have enough foundational knowledge that the basics are automatic. When you don't have to think about how do I write a for loop. When you can focus on the interesting problems instead of fighting with the syntax. This is why senior developers can vibe code better than juniors. Not because they're smarter, because they've written enough code that the fundamentals are muscle memory. Step 1, pick the right project. This is crucial. You can't vibe code your company's production authentication system on a Friday afternoon. Well, you can, but you'll get fired. Pick something that's challenging enough to be interesting, but not so hard. Personal projects are perfect for this. Side projects that nobody's waiting on. Stuff where if it breaks, the only consequence is mild disappointment. Step 2, set up your environment. I'm not talking about your IDE theme, although yes, dark mode is mandatory. I'm talking about eliminating distractions. Close Slack, close Discord. Close that tab where you're monitoring your deploy. You're not monitoring anything, you're procrastinating. Put your phone in airplane mode, or better yet, in another room. If you're the type of person who checks their phone every 3 minutes, you're never achieving flow. You're just achieving anxiety. Step 3, warm up. This sounds stupid, but it works. Don't start with the hardest part. Start with something easy. Fix a small bug, add a simple feature, refactor one function, something that gets your brain into coding mode without overwhelming it. It's like stretching before exercise, except instead of preventing injuries, you're preventing the urge to check Reddit. Step 4, use AI as a co-pilot, not a pilot. This is where everyone messes up. AI coding tools like Cursor or GitHub Copilot are incredible, but if you're just copy-pasting whatever they spit out, you're not vibe coding. You're just transcribing. Use AI to handle the boring parts. Boilerplate code, repetitive patterns. That one regex you can never remember, but you should still understand what the code is doing. If you can't explain it, you didn't write it. The AI did. And when it inevitably breaks at 2 a.m. on a Saturday, you'll be screwed. Step 5. Embrace the mess, then clean it up. Here's a secret that clean code evangelists don't want you to know. First drafts are supposed to be ugly. When you're in flow, don't stop to refactor, don't stop to add comments, don't stop to rename variables to follow some naming convention you read about in a blog post from 2012. Just build the thing, get it working. Then, once you've proven the concept, go back and make it pretty. People get really obsessed with tools. Should I use Cursor or Windsurf? Is NeoVim better for flow state? Here's the truth. The best tool is the one you don't have to think about. If you're constantly fighting with your IDE, that's not vibe coding. That's just regular coding with extra steps. Pick tools that feel natural. For most people, that's VS Code. It's boring, it's mainstream, but it works. And it doesn't require a PhD in configuration files to set up. Some people swear by Vim. If you're one of them, great. But if you're not, don't force it because some guy on Hacker News said it would make you more productive. He's lying, or he's already put in 500 hours learning Vim key bindings. But honestly, whatever keeps you focused is the right answer. I know developers who code to podcasts. It shouldn't work, but it does for them. Vibe coding isn't appropriate for everything. Vibe coding is for personal projects, prototypes, MVPs, experiments. It's not for banking software, medical devices, anything where someone could die or lose money if your code fails. Here's what nobody tells you about vibe coding. It's not actually about the code. It's about removing the friction between your brain and the computer. When you're in flow, you're not thinking in Python or JavaScript. You're thinking in problems and solutions. The code is just how you express those thoughts. The best vibe coders aren't the ones who know the most frameworks. They're the ones who can think clearly about problems, who can hold an entire system architecture in their head without needing a whiteboard. That kind of clarity comes from practice, not from reading documentation, from building things. So yes, vibe coding is easy, but first you have to do the hard part.